that Dr. V.P. Joy, the Honorable Chief Secretary, Government of Kerala, is present among us on this occasion as our chief guest. I request Shri R.S. Gopalan, Deputy Director General UIDAI RO Bangalore, to formally welcome the Honorable Chief Secretary by providing him a bouquet. That is Kerala State IT Mission. Now to light on the lamp, please.
Srimati Vidushi Chaturvedi, DDG of UID, and Sri Mohan Krishnan, State NIC, DDG, and Sri Snehil Kumar Singh, IT Mission Director of Kerala Government, and all distinguished participants of today's workshop. I am extremely happy that the UID authority is organizing this workshop here to familiarize and advance the usage of Aadhaar and also ensure the correct usage of Aadhaar for various programs and to create awareness about this among the various functionaries of government and all who are utilizing Aadhaar for various purposes. My acquaintance and use of this technology goes back to many years. Whichever organization I was heading or working earlier, we have made extensive use of Aadhaar to improve that organization and to improve the delivery of services. In my opinion, this usage of Aadhaar is one of the best things which happened to the country during the last decade. This was initiated in 2009. Now we have completed more than a decade of this experiment, and I am sure that this particular single technological innovation has enabled a leapfrogging in many areas of enterprise and also the interaction of the government with the public. So I recall my experience when I was heading the EPFO, that is Employees Provident Fund Organization, and with an organization with a large number of members. Now it has got more than 6 crore people, and of course large number of establishments, more than 4 lakh establishments enrolled there, and the service delivery was very poor, and there were a lot of complaints. And with the usage of Aadhaar, the whole system was changed by proper introduction of electronic services, and today all the services of EPFO are available on the mobile, and people are very much happy and contented with the EPFO services on account of the usage of Aadhaar, especially an organization dealing with the money, and the delivery of services without fraud, etc. is very important. Now EPFO is, of course, the past legacy of data and all are there, but even then the future service delivery has become very modern and without fraud, etc., because of the use of Aadhaar in a big way. Now the same thing is available in the state government in Kerala. We have initiated a huge transformation a year back, and we are nearing the culmination of our effort. So we decided that the Kerala government will become completely digital by 15th August of this year. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We set this target more than a year back. And then we started working very rigorously on this with the help of NIC, various departments, all state government agencies, IT Mission, and all the agencies involved in this regard. And of course, Aadhaar is definitely a very key aspect of all this reform. So we are removing now all the paper files and in all the offices of the state, and trying to make all of them electronic files, including the lowest offices, trying to connect all the offices electronically with the fiber, which of course we have achieved the target, and also ensuring that all services are delivered electronically to the citizens. Today our kerala.gov.in page, E7M page of Government of Kerala has more than 835 services, electronic services, which people can access and apply electronically. And our M7M app, this mobile app, has more than 650 services in the app. So we have reached a stage where each and every service which the citizens is delivered through the electronic system. And also we have put target that all the monies which the government collects must come through electronic means, whether it be land tax, whether it be property tax, whether it be building tax, whether it be utility payments like electricity or water payments, or any payment which a government collects must come, at least 90% of it, through electronic means. And we are very fast approaching our target in the state of Kerala. And of course all the monies which we are delivering to the public, they are through direct benefit transfer. And that also is to reach the public electronically. When I was in the Cabinet Secretariat in charge of this direct benefit transfer, I had a lot of interaction with the UIDAI also. And we tried to put up a system whereby all the central government services are made electronic at that point of time. And a lot of services were similarly brought in one page, one platform. All the central government services were brought electronic and mobile at that point of time. So this way, by utilizing this Aadhaar, and here we have also started in our portal of E7M portal, where those services were Aadhaar linked. Aadhaar is one of the inputs. Such services, they need to log in only once. What is called unique ID, no? That is what? Single sign-on. Single sign-on using Aadhaar, they have implemented. So I think more than 350 services. One sign-on with Aadhaar is sufficient. They can apply for any of these with minimal data being provided for that service. So this kind of arrangement is also, now we are trying to expand that list. We have put Aadhaar Alt here, and then we are trying to create a unified database with Aadhaar as one of the key elements. So the state government is in the process of putting a unified database by integrating all the databases from the various departments. And in this, the key element, one of the key elements is Aadhaar. So by usage of Aadhaar in all these multifarious ways, we can make a modern state where whatever is eligible for the citizens are delivered electronically without any hassle, without intermediaries, and without corruption, and with a great transparency. This is what we are attempting through the usage of Aadhaar and electronic systems. And this definitely is a big step which in the governance of the state. And I'm sure that this year we will be reaching this target. Along with this, we have targeted so many other things like service deliveries in various other platforms. We have put large number of softwares. As you are aware, all the tenders of the state government are happening in one portal. All the auctions are happening in another portal. All the purchases are happening in the state government through GEM only. So actually it is pure electronic governance for the state. And same thing is being done in other sectors also, like you might have read in the paper that all the two districts in Kerala are already completely digital banking. So they have targeted, in our SLBC we have taken decision that all 14 districts of the state will move to complete digital banking in a few months' time, along with the state government moving to electronic system. Our entire banking sector will move to digital transactions only. And so also all the courts are moving to electronic system in Kerala. Now we have notified that these High Court, all the cases you can file electronically, affidavits, everything, cases can be filed. And also in subordinate judiciary, it is possible. We have initiated one of the huge projects of Kerala government, which is called what is known as digital survey of the state. More than it is an 850 crore project, where the entire state will be surveyed digitally, and with Aadhaar linked identifier, that property identifier. Person can, the properties of persons will be available with the electronically surveyed data, as also with unique identifier for the ownership, etc. So this kind of systems can reduce a lot of litigation and make life easier for people. And the time which is spent on so many other matters like visiting officers, applying, going around, and this kind of citizen, ease of life for citizens, ease of doing business. These are huge targets which we have put before us. Now, ease of doing business. As you are aware, Kerala is very advanced in certain areas. Like we are number one in the Sustainable Development Index for the last 4 years. We are the lowest in poverty in the country in the ranking, and lowest in corruption in the index of corruption ranking. And also we are now ease of doing business. And of course we are the best in the health indices. There are several things which Kerala can be proud of, but ease of doing business we were a little behind in the 2-3 years before. We were 28, we have moved to 14 in this year's ranking. And next year we will be within first 5 in ease of doing business, because of our effort which we made in these electronic services, as also Aadhaar usage in the state. So we hope to become a fully electronically governed state this year itself, and with all the services, all the papers, all the payments, all the sectors of the economy moving to electronic governance. And definitely Aadhaar is a key base on which the whole edifice of electronic governance is built. So this brings transparency, reduces red tape, and also ensures that citizens' life is improved. And I'm sure that of course we are trying this, other states are also doing the same thing, and I'm happy that our country will build electronic governance on the framework of Aadhaar, which has been conceived as a statutory device. So today I congratulate the unique UIDAI authority for organizing this workshop here, and also allowing the usage of Aadhaar and helping and also facilitating the usage of Aadhaar for all these purposes. And they are very positive about this, and they always support all the initiatives of state government as well as various central government entities, which I used to, as I said earlier, I have been in interaction with the UIDAI authority when I was in EPFO, when I was in the cabinet secretariat, and here also when I am in the chief secretary's office. Everywhere I have been interacting with the UIDAI authority, and they have provided excellent support and help in this regard. I thank them for this, and also congratulate them on organizing this workshop. I wish this workshop all the best. Thank you very much.
Request Mr. Mohan Krishnan, DDGNIC, to kindly address the gathering.
A warm good morning to all of you, respected Chief Secretary, DDG UIDAI Legal, and Director KSI team. It is indeed a very welcome step that UIDAI has taken to come down here and hold a workshop to sensitize the audience, which includes a large amount of technocrats who are providing support to the government. This area is everybody knows it's a very sensitive area. People need to be sensitized properly on the legal aspects as well as new steps, one of which the Kerala government has now moved ahead to implement, that is the Aadhaar vault. Indeed, just when I entered here in the morning, I already had an initial talk with the DDG, and we would use this opportunity to understand the nitty-gritties with keeping the legal consequences in the backdrop, so that we have a perfect understanding as we go forward on this subject. NIC looks after major verticals within the government. We are involved in the land records, we are involved in the HR part of the state government, then we have the treasury which is with us, and in addition to that, the PDS also. And in all of these, Aadhaar plays a vital role. So we hope that our officers as well as others really take this wonderful opportunity to engage with the UIDAI officers and have a perfect understanding of how things need to be implemented within their internal systems, so that there is no violation, and also how smoothly this can be done without too much lag in the transaction movement. So with this, I once again congratulate UIDAI for holding this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Mr. Snehil Kumar Singh, please.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Chief Secretary, sir, Chaturvedi ma'am, Gopalan sir, and State Informatics Officer. So it is indeed a great opportunity for all of us to interact and understand the nitty-gritties of Aadhaar, which I'm sure every department has a certain understanding, but there are still certain apprehensions involved into how do we go ahead with it. As sir has already mentioned that Kerala has been very aggressively pursuing the use of Aadhaar in various different applications, and we have been able to integrate it at different stages. Whether it is at citizen service interaction, whether it is at governance level, where is it at simplifying our systems itself. One example which I would want to point out here is the social security pensions that are given by government of Kerala were having a lot of duplication problems. And with use of with use of Aadhaar, we were able to filter out more than 10 lakh duplicate entries, which obviously saved a lot of amount for the state also, as well as it created a very strong tool within the system to ensure that this problem doesn't repeat itself. And see, deduplication is one of the elements which probably is very easy to understand for every department, but I'm positive that with the direction that we're going in, we will be able to integrate Aadhaar into our systems much more cleanly and in a way which is highly impactful. And I congratulate UIDAI for arranging this workshop, and I'm hoping that it will be a good workshop for every department, solution providers to clarify their doubts, seek some more insights into better and practical uses of Aadhaar, staying within the legal limits, and then modifying their systems. And thank you for having all of us, and I hope our departments get the maximum out of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request Mr. R.S. Gopalan, DDG RO Bangalore, so kindly address the gathering.
Good morning. Respected Chief Secretary, DDG Legal UIDAI, SIO Kerala, and Director KS ISTM Sri Nikhil Kumar, and the senior officers of Government of Kerala. I welcome you all to this one-day workshop. Aadhaar has become the most preferred form of identification in the entire country. In the last 12 years, Aadhaar has started with a small beginning, and in these 12 years, we have covered 135 crore people, and the coverage is increasing. And everywhere you go, people ask for Aadhaar. Now, in this 12-year journey, there are 3 milestones which are very important from the legal perspective. First one is the 2016 Aadhaar Act, which clearly lays down the purposes for which Aadhaar can be used, how the Aadhaar data should be protected, how it should be used. The most salient point of that is, normally we have a lot of apprehensions about how our data is saved, protected. There was a lot of speculation in the media also when it was discussed in the Supreme Court. Now, I can assure you that we collect minimal data as per the Aadhaar Act. We collect very minimal data. We only collect what we call biometrics and demographics. Biometrics include your fingerprints, iris and photograph, and demographics include your name, care of, address, date of birth, gender, your phone and email if you want to provide it. These have been defined clearly in the Aadhaar Act 2016. The next important milestone was the 2019 judgment of the Supreme Court in Pottasamy versus Union of India case. After that, it became very clear how Aadhaar should be used. Now, the usage has grown much beyond that, and to facilitate that, an amendment to the Aadhaar Act was introduced in 2019 and passed, and that amendment it provides for further space for growth of Aadhaar. Let me just explain 2-3 small things which you are interested in as Aadhaar holder. You are all Aadhaar holder. I hope all of you have Aadhaar. If anyone doesn't have Aadhaar, please tell me, I will arrange for it. Namely, the fingerprints and the iris cannot be used for any other purpose. Some time back, there was a Malayalam movie in which it was shown that there some police is investigating some case, and they come to Aadhaar, UIDAI, and take the help of UIDAI to identify the dead body. Let me assure you that is prohibited, that is impossible, that cannot be done. We do not share your fingerprints and iris with anybody. We store it in a secure location. We have adequate protection for that data, and that your core fingerprints and iris cannot be used for any other purpose. Regarding the demographics, now demographics continuously changes, right? You shift your house, sometimes you change your name after marriage, sometimes there are a lot of, like a married lady wants to change from this care of, from her father to her husband. So all these things we call it as update, and updates and enrollment can be done in any of our centers. And again in updates also, this data is also, it's protected. It is the relationship that we have with the Aadhaar holder is that of a client relationship. That basically means that it is covered by the client privilege. We do not share that data also, except as provided by the Aadhaar Act. Then the next point I would like to stress is what are the ways in which the government of Kerala can make better use of Aadhaar. Now, I have only praises for the government of Kerala in this. It's a well-developed state, advanced state, as Chief Secretary has pointed out, in Human Development Index and Health Indexes. Kerala stands number 1. However, there is one aspect where I would expect more from the government of Kerala, and that is regarding the use of Aadhaar. As I said, Aadhaar has become the most preferred form of identification. So everywhere people ask you to show your Aadhaar. Now the 2016 Act and the Supreme Court judgment clearly says who can demand Aadhaar, who can use Aadhaar. It clearly says. If someone else, even a government employee, even a government office, asks for Aadhaar without a perfect legal basis, it will be challenged. It has been challenged, and it has been clearly said that you must have a firm legal base for use of Aadhaar even inside the government. It is not that any government office can use Aadhaar. So what is the legal basis? Legal basis is that the government should bring out a notification saying that for this particular service, we are going to use Aadhaar as the preferred form of identification, not exclusive form of identification. It should be the preferred form of identification. So such a notification, there are provisions in the Aadhaar Act when you can make such notifications. First thing is that whenever if an expenditure is incurred from the consolidated fund of the state and it goes to a beneficiary, then the government may stipulate Aadhaar. In those cases, Aadhaar should be made a compulsory form of identification. But wherever Aadhaar is the compulsory form of identification, there must be provisions for those people who do not hold Aadhaar, those who do not have Aadhaar. That clause should be there in the notification itself. Now, in addition to that, in 2019 amendment, we have brought some provisions whereby you can use Aadhaar even when there is no expenditure from the consolidated fund. For the sake of good governance and transparency, social welfare, you can ask people to identify themselves through Aadhaar. Office uses Aadhaar without a legal notification, it can be challenged. So the purpose of this workshop is threefold. Number one, to encourage the state government departments and wings to bring out more notification, bring comprehensively every service that is provided by the state government. It is preferable that Aadhaar is notified as the form of identification. There are state governments which have brought out some 200-300 services under the Aadhaar Act. In the neighboring Karnataka, even such services that they have a scheme for the judges of judiciary who deliver judgments in Kannada, there is an incentive. Even for that scheme, they have notified that Aadhaar should be the identification. So when there are other state governments like Haryana, which have crossed 300 services, they have notified. I would love to see Kerala number one in this also. And for that, we are ready to extend all the help. That is the first purpose of this workshop, to encourage the state government to bring out notifications covering all the schemes that they provide. Whether the beneficiaries are citizens or whether the beneficiaries are government employees, even there you can use Aadhaar as the form of identification. The second purpose of this workshop is to encourage the government of Kerala to establish, helping the government of Kerala to establish a data vault. As explained by the DDG NIC, data vault is going to play a very big role in the state government. In that data vault, the state government may, because by law, we are prohibited from storing further information. For example, when you link your Aadhaar card with your bank account, UIDAI does not get to know your bank account number. The bank account number is never told us. Similarly, when you link your Aadhaar card with your SIM card, basically when you get a SIM number, we do not get the phone number, that mobile number that we do not get. When you link your Aadhaar card with the PAN card, we do not get the PAN number. We don't know which PAN it is linked to. So this is what we call as purpose blind. This aspect should be clearly understood by both the state governments and by people. Tax department, there are threats, warrants, etc. I have seen all asking me very strange questions. Like the IT department provided an Aadhaar number and asked me where that person is actually. No, we do not track you. We are not we can't locate you physically with the Google map. No, we don't. Even when you use Aadhaar for authentication, even that data is stored only exactly according to the Supreme Court's judgments, and it is deleted after that period, that's 6 months. Therefore, you don't have to worry about how that data is stored or used. However, it is for the state government. Suppose the state government wants to store more data. Since we are legally prohibited, the state government can take upon itself to link other data to collect more data in addition to these 5. For example, if they want to know which Aadhaar holder is availing benefit under PDS, and you want to do a deduplication to see whether the same user is availing PDS in another district. Now that deduplication can be done at the state level if you have a data vault. So the second purpose of this workshop is to encourage the government of Kerala to establish a data vault, and we are ready to extend all the help. The third purpose of this workshop is to encourage the state government to use Aadhaar enabled payment services as the preferred mode of distribution of subsidies and payments. Now Aadhaar enabled payment services have become very big, and there are states which distributes not just subsidy, even other forms of assistance only through Aadhaar. So that makes it very, very simple. You don't have to collect the beneficiary's bank account number. You don't have to store that. The storing a beneficiary's bank account number is a risky risky action. So AEPS, Aadhaar enabled payment system, helps you to avoid that. And towards that end, we have asked NPCA also to participate in today's workshop, and they are also participating. So my request to the state government is, to make sure in all the three aspects, namely notifying all more services under the Aadhaar Act. So far, the number of notifications in Kerala are very less there in single digit. Whereas, as I said, other state governments have notified hundreds of services. I would like to see Kerala number one in this also, and in establishing a data vault. And thirdly, using Aadhaar-enabled payment system to distribute subsidies and payments directly to the people. So with these words, I welcome you once again to this workshop, and I wish the state government all the very best. In due course, I am sure that the government of Kerala would be number one in all these aspects also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your describing the objectives of the workshop. Now I would like to invite Madam Vidushi Chaturvedi, DDG Legal and Finance, to address the audience, please.
Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. Good morning, Chief Secretary, sir, DDG, and Secretary from the Government of Kerala. First and foremost, I extend a heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Gopalan, the Regional Office Head of Bangalore UIDAI, who has organized this workshop, and he extended an invite to me. And being from the headquarter, the attraction of Kerala for tourism, for being the most developed state in our country, Kerala is certainly our pride. So I could not have but come here. So thank you for inviting me to this wonderful state of Kerala. So, well, the Aadhaar Act, as has been mentioned by the Chief Secretary, sir, and my previous speakers, was formulated in 2016, but Aadhaar was already in vogue even a little earlier than that. So, India as a country is a vast country with multitudinous variety of people and problems and issues. So to give a common base to all of them, Aadhaar was conceptualized to be able to provide an electronic identity to each and every resident of the country. So please try to think from the mind of the fathers of Aadhaar formulators. So they wanted to touch the life of each and every resident of the country, and therefore Aadhaar was conceptualized as it is today. And Aadhaar has emerged as the most trusted, most reliable, most advanced technology solution to touch the lives of all citizens and residents of the country. So I'm sure that Kerala is electronically very developed. E-literacy is also very high, as education level is high, and people are very conscious citizens. They are aware of their rights and duties. So I would like to tell you that the preamble to the Constitution speaks of high values of equality, justice, liberty, and in order to actualize those values, we need to implement certain tools in our format of governance. And Aadhaar is one such tool which tries to actualize the values enshrined in the preamble to the Constitution, which is equality, justice for all, access to justice, liberty, equality of status and of opportunity. So initially when Aadhaar came into being in 2016, we had dreamt of delivery of all welfare services to each of the beneficiaries through the Aadhaar system. And of course, the DBT is another tool, the direct benefit transfer is another tool which fuses with the Aadhaar to ensure that the service reaches the last mile. The service is available to the last citizen, to the last resident who is standing in the queue in the last order, so that there is no pilferage, there is no corruption, there is no duplicacy, and the service is reached in the way it was originally conceptualized and dreamt of. So to that extent, Aadhaar has been a big success in our country. And we have to further push the usage of Aadhaar in that spirit. So, the primary motive of Aadhaar has been to empower us all, empower residents, empower the citizens of the country. So, you want me to run through the presentation? Yeah? Okay. So, I have a few slides. Please. So as we all know that Aadhaar is a randomly generated 12-digit number. There is no intelligence in the numbers as there is on the number plates of our vehicles. Okay? So there is nothing to fear the 12 digits. They do not disclose any kind of information related to our what section of society we belong to, what caste, what class, which region, what language. Then Aadhaar number ensures uniqueness, and the basic feature of Aadhaar is its uniqueness. God has given us a unique set of iris and biometrics, and these fingerprints cannot be duplicated. Each one of us has a unique fingerprint as well as iris, and these are the two features which have been captured in the Aadhaar, and therefore nobody can misuse your identity. Your identity is your iris and your biometrics more than your name, because your name can exist in many other regions and many other people can have your name, but no one can have your biometric and your iris. So that is the uniqueness inherent in the Aadhaar. It is voluntary in nature. The Supreme Court has time and again said that Aadhaar is a voluntary ID. It cannot be made mandatory. So if you do not have an Aadhaar, does not mean that you will not get your benefits from the state government, be it your a ration card or linking of your bank accounts, or withdrawing money or opening a new bank account. So please be mindful of the fact that Aadhaar is only a facilitating agency. It is not a mandatory requirement. So please be mindful of this legal fact that the Aadhaar has not been made mandatory. But yes, it can be insisted upon because it makes life easier. The inherent ideology is ease of living for all of us. And the government is able to give you corruption-free services with the help of Aadhaar. As I said, it is a very empowering tool in that sense. Enrollment and update of Aadhaar number is hassle-free, inclusive, flexible and simple process. And we as an organization are trying night and day to further simplify it for all residents, and the state governments are partnering with us, and I'm extremely thankful and happy that the state government is extremely helpful and excited in using Aadhaar for delivery of the welfare services and delivering the promise of the state, the contract between the citizen and the state that exists, that is based on trust, is furthered through the tools like Aadhaar, and we are here to further those purposes. Aadhaar number provides online authentication anytime, anywhere across the country. So that is the benefit of using electronic communication. You don't need to be in a certain place at a certain time to do the linking. Security and privacy of information collected is ensured. No data sharing is permitted without the consent of the Aadhaar. Even the government, even your state government cannot use your number, Aadhaar number, or your demographic details without taking you into confidence and taking your consent. So that is the basic purpose. You need to know and feel comfortable that your data is secured with all guidelines of security and protection available on date implemented. So your data is absolutely safe and secure with the organization. which is a custodian of your data. So you are the owner of the data and we are the custodians. On behalf of you, we are looking after the security and safety of the data. Enabling distribution of subsidies, benefit services in a transparent and timely manner. You know that flood relief has to be distributed in a timely manner, otherwise there is no purpose. So how to implement services in real time? Only Aadhaar-like services can make that possible. In disaster management, you know, Aadhaar has come in handy. So for distribution of services, Aadhaar has been extremely helpful. And after the amendment of Aadhaar in 2019, we have tried to expand the methods and means of using Aadhaar. So the clause 44B, 1B tries to expand the possibilities through which you can use Aadhaar for delivery of services. And that is good governance. So the other thing is that I want each one of you to remember that Aadhaar is no evidence of citizenship. So there have been court cases and there is a misconception in many people's minds that if they have an Aadhaar, they can prove that they are also a citizen. So please understand that Aadhaar is not a proof of citizenship. It is only a proof of your residentship in the country. And of course, we are committed to highest standards of privacy and security, and we are following all the national and international guidelines available. And we all should be very proud that India is a technologically advanced country, and it is showing the way to other countries in how data has to be collected and secured. Obligations of UIDAI under the Aadhaar Act 2016 is, of course, we are committed to securing your confidentiality of records. We restrict the sharing of information even with state governments, you know. We enter into a proper legal MOU, only then we agree to share any kind of data, and that also a morphed 12-digit. We don't try to give all the data, and it is of course with the consent of the resident. That is very important. So again, disclosure of information is absolutely prohibited. Only the judge of a high court can ask for disclosing information, and that too after again seeking the consent of the individual and giving an opportunity to the resident, to the concerned person, as well as to the organization. I think that's the most important feature. So for now, I again thank Mr. Gopalan for giving this opportunity to the headquarters to come and present these views. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Chief Secretary, sir, for gracing the occasion and coming to support UIDAI, sir. We value your support and your time that you have given to me. Thank you, DDG, NIC. And thank you all the state government participants. I am extremely thankful to you that, I got the opportunity to be here with you. Thank you, sir, and wish us all the well for.
Thank you for your description. Now I will request Shri R.S. Gopalan, DDG, sir, to present the memento to the dignitaries, please.